Hi, I'm Betsy Urbance, Illinois Realtors Chief Legal Counsel, and I am sharing with you episode 1 of our RELA web series that has to do with the License Act changes and some proposed rules provisions. In this particular episode, I'm just going to give you an introduction and a history, if you will, as to how we got to where we are now. That is with a new License Act in effect, and also with some proposed rules that at the very earliest will be final in June 2020. But at this point, we have enough direction that I think if you abide by the agreed regulations, you should be in pretty good shape within your practice. How did we get there? Well, August 9th, 2019 was the date the amended Real Estate License Act became effective. All licensing laws in the state of Illinois sunset every 10 years, and our particular license law was no exception. So the RELA that we were operating under was set to sunset in 2019. As a result, the way that Illinois Realtors typically every 9 or 10 years begins its internal process is it puts together a task force. This particular time was no exception. So our task force was comprised into 3 subcategories. Those were business issues, regulation, and education. The task force groups met, they vetted ideas, they proposed initiatives, and at the end of the day, all of those ideas and initiatives were presented to the Board of Directors for approval. Once approved, in the background, what we were having was an election for the governor of Illinois. So that puts your statute, that puts your revised statute or your rewrite, as some call it, in a state of question. Would it be the same administration and they would just extend the licensing law, which was definitely not our hope, in that there are lots of issues that we as an industry hope to cover with regard to technology and advancements, education, oversight. So we were hoping for something new or revised. So Illinois Realtors legal staff set about writing revised language for a proposed License Act initiative. So we put that together really not knowing where we would be come the election. Well, the election happened, and as everyone now knows, we had a new administration. So then the question is, what, if any, activity would there be? But we did have a License Act that was set to expire at the end of December, or effectively the beginning of 2020. As a result, the bottom line was that Illinois Realtors got together with the new administration at IDFPR, or the Division of Real Estate, and through the work and the cooperation and many hours spent by many people, both here at Illinois Realtors to represent the industry and also across the way at the Division of Real Estate with some of the new folks that were involved there, and then at the General Assembly to get this bill put together, vetted, revised, and filed. And it's really nothing short of a tiny bit miraculous that we ended up with a rewrite, but not technically a rewrite. Because of the way that it happened, it was really an amendment to the existing law, although there are some very substantial provisions in it. So I just want to clear up a little misconception where everyone, not everyone, but many are under the impression, and they would have been right had we done a rewrite, that everything went into effect Jan 1, 2020. But as a matter of fact, everything went into effect on August 9th, 2019. So that was the 60 days after the governor signed the bill, or it was effective upon becoming law, and that was when the governor signed the bill, which was August 9th, 2019. So we have had a revised real estate license law since that time. The amended Real Estate License Act, or RELA, contains some global themes. The global themes are these. We know about the leasing agent licensee. Well, the leasing agent licensee is now known as the residential leasing agent. Just more clearly defines that the leasing agent's scope of practice is very, very limited. It also allows for businesses to operate in a paperless or purely technological fashion. So while you're still perfectly free to have a physical or bricks and mortar office, there are provisions in the newly revised RELA that allow for a virtual office and for electronic record keeping, keeping in mind that all of the concepts with regard to confidentiality and agency duties remain the same whether you're operating in a physical office with physical files or with electronic office and electronic files. More to be explained in future episodes. Also, there's more oversight required of the managing broker of an office, who is now, and this is another global theme, known as the designated managing broker. So it's that person, that human being, that is identified as the designated managing broker with the department or the division of real estate. That person is in charge of the oversight. So there are also provisions with regard to new brokers. So if I'm a person getting my broker's license for the first time, I am going to, my pre- and post-license education has been revised somewhat from a 90-hour pre-license requirement and a 30-hour post-license requirement to a 75-hour pre-license requirement. You take the test, you pass it, and then you do a 45-hour post-license. And the general thinking and consensus was that a new broker needs real-life experience. So how does the new broker get that real-life experience? Well, the idea is that the new broker would take this 45-hour post-license education that's broken down into 15-hour modules. So that's pretty much an overview of the history and how we got where we are now from where we were then. The following episodes will cover items like paperless practice and technology, licensing and management, which I also lovingly refer to as education and oversight, teams and advertising, that's a big one, consumer protection and business practice, and finally, our favorite, the miscellaneous or catch-all provisions. Thank you for watching Illinois Realtors RELA web series. On our next episode, Annalise Fierstos will join me as we talk about paperless practice and technology.